Yeah, I thought to myself today, uh, what got me to here to my current position in life? You know, am I happy? I'm trying to do like a little self check in, and the more I think about it, the more I think that I have a lot of resentment that I hold on to for for reasons that aren't really justified. Um, I think I've caused myself to be miserable because there are a lot of things that I want to do, but I let fear control me. I let fear force me into jobs, positions, relationships, friendships that were not good for me, or maybe weren't the worst, but I still wasn't happy with. And I think that it took me far too long to accept that maybe I should just try to do things I want to do. Uh, Anybody that will end up watching these, if anybody does, uh, will hear me say over and over again how I wrote a book. And that's probably a normal thing that happens to a lot of people who do things like that, right? Like, uh, because it's a thing that a lot of people don't do, so you want to share it. But I think for me, it's also an excitement because it's something that I dreamed of doing, and like maybe not a whole lot of people will buy it. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera. Maybe not a whole lot of people will buy it. Maybe it won't be successful. Maybe I'll still have to do jobs that I don't want to do. But I at least did something that I had a picture in my head that I wanted to set out to do. And even if I didn't do it greatly or perfectly or could have been done better, or maybe somebody else does it better, yeah, I still did it. And that little moment where I put it on the internet and I put it on Amazon meant more to me than like a lot of very major moments in my life. I can think of very very few things that mattered more to me than that. You know, Maybe specific moments with my friends or specific moments with my fiance have been more impactful to me. But for once, I felt like I had this thing that I made, and that I created a thing that I wanted to do. It wasn't something that somebody else told me to do. It wasn't something that I had to do. It wasn't something that I necessarily would get paid to do. You know, I fully expected even most of my friends that ended up buying it. I expected half of them not to buy it. I sold, I think, right now 17 copies, or 15 or 17 copies. I sold a total of 19 books. I sold 4 copies of the one that a lot of people aren't gonna like, and I sold was 19 minus 4 is 15. 15 copies of my actual book, and even then, like that's more than what I expected. Uh, it's not a lot of money. It's not something I can pay a bill with. It's not something that I can look at and brag about. But I still brag about it. And I think the reason why it's less to do with actually feeling like I've made a mark on the world, but more of an internal validation to me because maybe it's because for so long I wanted to do things that don't make money, right? Like when you're a kid, uh, there are things that you want to do that most people just don't try, or they try a little bit and they fail, and they just don't do it, or they just try their entire lives and they always fail at it. I played guitar for 10 years roughly, and I wanted to be a rock star. And every point in turn that I had where I tried to play music, it didn't work out. Um, I wanted to publish a book. I've written um, 4 books, if you count the journals I filled out, maybe 5. or I just have like entire writings of things that I've always wanted to. I always wanted to have that thing that said, written by Brandon A. Sonic, for just for whatever reason. I wanted that, or I want like a movie that says directed by, or that I want like something that has my name on it. That even if people don't care, even if it's like a small project, even if I lose money on it, right? It still has my name on it. Like that's cool, and it's a thing that I can honestly say that I point to and I say like I put effort in that. I helped create that, and it's not just me showing up to a place and performing a series of tasks to make money, to make somebody else money, and for me to get a small portion of it, and for that person to take advantage of me to ask me to do as much as humanly possible that that money can buy from me. It's not me just creating content for the sake of creating content. It's hey, I did a thing that 90 plus percent of the people on the face of the planet could do, just don't. And they're either not interested or too lazy or they don't care or they don't see that they're not capable of envisioning the final project or getting to that final point, or they can't see it through. Like I saw it through, and that it matters to me. You know, it I pick it up and I hold on to it and I look at it and I'm like, I cannot fucking believe that this finally happened. Like I can't believe that this thing that I thought of as a kid, and I can only imagine like if it became successful. Like I honestly, like I know that a lot of guys like don't want to cry. I probably would cry because I wouldn't believe it. It would be like a dream come true that for most of my life, because life has a tendency to beat you down, to constantly give you reality checks, it would just be the ultimate middle finger to reality. Like I fucking did do it, motherfucker. Like I made bread off of this, which I don't foresee. I don't expect it because I just am. I'm still trying to enjoy the happiness of even doing it to begin with, and and it makes me wonder. Like how many people have to accept their limitations or choose to, or give up too soon, or think themselves not capable of doing a thing, or try to do it and fail over and over and over again, or people who've just been beaten down by life, or how many jobs do we work that we don't even really need? We don't need these jobs. Well, we need these jobs because people need money, but we create that artificial need, and we don't have enough time for the things that we actually care about, right? Like like one guitar that I have uh, is another thing that I was kind of proud of. It's a piece of shit guitar. Fucking, I bought it for $80 used for Guitar Center. This thing is a used ESP LTD EC Quilted Maple blah 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 crap you don't care. And I wanted to be a luthier too growing up. I wanted to work on stringed instruments, and there really isn't much of a job market for that because everybody who has a guitar wants to save money by just doing it themselves. Most people who work on string instruments end up just doing like restrings or repairs or maybe builds them. Um, but this thing, like I took a round file, I filed the fretboard. This is a thing that I did either during high school or right after high school. This is a thing that has made me no money, but it was a thing that I wanted to do, and I did it. I have paintings that I wanted to do, and I did it. I have one painting that I think I did very well. The rest of them I think I did okay to bad, kind of depending on what it is. But like art, you know, it's so dusty. you kind of. I think the biggest disappointment in our reality, it's not that you have to do things you don't want to do, because part of being an adult is, a lot of your time isn't your own, right? But the biggest disappointment is just how little time you do have for yourself, and just how little people actually do care about things, and how interesting of a person you can be, but you're not allowed to be. How many opinions do we have, and people who are fully capable. Oh, put this back. People who are fully capable of creating a movie that is amazing, or writing a book that would speak to so many people, or making a fucking YouTube video that would speak to so many people, and just don't try, because that's not an adult thing to do, because that's not a real job. You need to get a real job. A real job. Okay, what's a real job? I don't know, go to a place and just do some things. That doesn't sound that grown up or manly. Or you need to make somebody else money. Okay. Why can't I make myself money though? Because nobody taught you how to run a business. Nobody taught you how to create things. Nobody, like you, and you don't have the time, energy, or money to learn how to do these things. And even if you did, most people don't really succeed, because we have all this commercialization, and we have popular things, and we have spheres of things that we're willing to accept, because that's just how we think. We think more views on a video means that video is better, or better quality. We think having a better camera or a better microphone, we accept the standard of appearance rather than substance. That's why nobody watches black or white movies anymore. I had to explain to some kids that a black and white movie can be really good, and I think that we look at things childishly like that. We can't look past the shitty audio, or the shitty appearances, or some aspects of art that you don't understand, to be able to appreciate the beauty of it. We look at the surface, and you learn this very much at jails, where the surface matters so much. If you're an officer, you're your uniform. You get a respect from wearing that uniform without people really knowing who you are. And if you're wearing stripes, you get a disrespect. You're a criminal. Your voice doesn't really matter as much here. You're here to do what you're told. And we strip your individuality, and we don't even really get that much out of it. We create a lot of things. There's a lot of shit that we don't fucking need. But we also create a lot of stress, and we don't appreciate things that people do. Is it really a grown-up thing to just do what you're told? Is that what being an adult is? I don't think so. Is it really so bad to want to do things that maybe isn't normal? People look at it as immature, but I don't.